also a marketing genius. Her and Ryan together are something else. But this was all Blake, and she knew that the song would work. And
they thought they were just sharing opinions online, but now more than 100 women are staring down the barrel of legal threats from one of Hollywood's biggest names. Imagine logging into TikTok, posting a quick thought about a movie, and then, weeks later, finding yourself dragged into court, accused of being part of some massive smear campaign you never even knew existed. Hi friends, I'm Sarah, and welcome to TLC Sister Wives Daily. If you love deep dives into the stories everyone's whispering about, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop your thoughts in the comments, because today's one is going to leave you speechless. This isn't just about a movie. This is about power, raw, unfiltered power, and what happens when it's aimed directly at everyday people who never signed up for this fight. A beloved celebrity is allegedly targeting not just journalists or influencers, but PR interns, small business owners, and even women who posted a single critical comment. The stakes? Their savings, their reputations, and in some cases, their careers. And behind it all is a chilling question. Is this really about protecting a public image? Or is it about sending a message that no one can speak against her without paying the price? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on how a wave of natural online criticism turned into a headline-making court battle, and how the lives of over 100 women have been upended in the process. It started quietly, just whispers online that a few people had been contacted by lawyers. At first, it felt like one of those celebrity rumors that burns hot for a day and disappears. But then, the scope became impossible to ignore. Over 100 women, yes, more than 100, suddenly found themselves facing legal notices from Blake Lively's team. The accusations? That they were part of a coordinated effort to damage her reputation. The reality, according to many of those targeted, was far simpler. They'd made a video, posted a comment, or shared a meme. Some were small-time content creators with a few thousand followers. Others worked in PR or marketing, people used to crafting brand images, not being at the center of a media storm. One woman said she had only tweeted a single sentence about a movie role and suddenly found herself accused of defamation. For these women, the shock was immediate and crushing. A-list stars are used to commanding attention, but here, that power was being felt in the most personal way possible. It wasn't about bad reviews in a magazine or a viral opinion piece. It was about regular people, some still in college or working 9-to-5 jobs, now needing to consider hiring attorneys just to protect themselves. And that's where the tension took root. This was no longer simply an issue of celebrity image management. It became a story of power versus vulnerability. One side has limitless resources, PR machinery, and the ability to dominate headlines. The other side? Ordinary workers, freelancers, and mothers balancing bills and childcare, now being dragged into an arena they never chose to enter. The lawsuits painted them as calculated enemies. But the women themselves told a very different story, one of fear, confusion, and disbelief that a single online comment could escalate into a legal battle with a Hollywood powerhouse. In the weeks that followed, the shockwave rippled across social media, igniting debates about free speech, online criticism, and just how far a celebrity can go to silence detractors. And for the women in the crosshairs, one question loomed largest. If this could happen to them, could it happen to anyone? At the heart of the legal filings, one name kept surfacing, the agency group, better known in the industry as TAG. They weren't a flashy Hollywood powerhouse or a celebrity gossip empire. TAG was a mid-sized PR firm with a respectable track record, handling everything from small business branding to mid-tier entertainment clients. And according to them, their Ness model was built on maintaining long-term relationships and credibility, two things that disappear quickly if you start playing dirty in the PR world. For TAG, the accusations weren't just damaging, they were existential. A PR firm lives and dies on its reputation. If potential clients believed they engaged in unethical or illegal tactics, their future could collapse overnight. Employees described the atmosphere in the office as tense and surreal. Instead of pitching stories or coordinating interviews, the team was now fielding calls from reporters and scrambling to preserve the company's name. The lawsuit framed Tag as a puppet master pulling invisible strings, but Tag's own narrative painted them as collateral damage, an ordinary PR agency caught in the crossfire of a celebrity's aggressive legal strategy. And somewhere between those two competing stories lay the truth, still buried under layers of legal filings, public statements, and online speculation. The wave of criticism didn't come out of nowhere. It began quietly, in the corners of book talk and fan forums, as early reactions to It Ends With Us trickled in. For many, the adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel had been one of the most anticipated releases of the year. But the moment the first teasers and behind-the-scenes clips hit the internet, the mood shifted. Fans had strong emotional connections to the book's raw, personal storytelling. They expected the film to mirror that intensity. Instead, early footage left some feeling it was too polished, too glossy, stripping away the grit that had made the novel resonate. A few influential TikTok creators began posting side-by-side comparisons between the book's most powerful scenes and the movie's softer interpretation, and those videos racked up millions of views in days. Then came the viral moments, a clip of Blake Lively in costume, smiling in a wubby. Some fans felt undercut the gravity of her character's storyline, was shared thousands of times, often paired with captions like, "This is not Lily Bloom." Another TikTok stitched together red carpet soundbites where Lively joked about her wardrobe and hair, which some took as dismissive toward the source material. Each post sparked hundreds of comments, not just from casual viewers, but from passionate readers who felt let down. It wasn't all harsh criticism. There were plenty of fans defending Lively's choices and praising her portrayal, but the negative takes traveled farther and faster. TikTok's algorithm thrives on engagement, and emotional reactions, especially disappointment, are engagement gold. Within weeks, it seemed everyone in the online book and movie community had weighed in, and from there, the backlash snowballed. Popular review accounts on Instagram and YouTube joined the conversation. Threads on Reddit dissected every creative decision, and while some industry insiders later claimed this momentum might have been artificially amplified, many who watched it unfold argued the opposite. This didn't look like a coordinated smear campaign. It looked like the kind of organic internet storm that can hit any high-profile project when expectations collide with reality. The critiques weren't uniform, and they weren't coming from a single source. They were messy, emotional, and deeply personal, fueled by genuine disappointment rather than a master plan. In other words, this wasn't a war, just a very public breakup between a beloved story and the fans who felt it had been misunderstood. As the online debate over It Ends With Us intensified, another conversation began brewing, not about the movie itself, but about how the story of the backlash was being told. Some internet sleuths noticed unusual patterns. Search results for Blake Lively and the film began to change. Articles critical of the movie slipped down in Google rankings, replaced by glowing coverage from lifestyle blogs and entertainment outlets. Headlines shifted from "Fans Slam Film Adaptation" to "Blake Lively Shines Despite Online Drama." PR experts called this a classic case of SEO manipulation, where strategic content is pumped into the internet to bury negative press. There were also murmurs about bot activity. Certain social media posts defending the film received sudden, suspicious spikes in likes and retweets, often from accounts with little to no personal content. While bot usage can be hard to prove, the pattern was familiar to those who follow celebrity PR battles. Use automated amplification to make positive narratives seem more popular than they are. And then there was the media spin. Outlets with close ties to Hollywood studios framed the backlash as a targeted attack or a case of online bullying, shifting focus from the film's reception to the supposed cruelty of internet culture. That framing played well in mainstream press, where stories about toxic fans often gained traction. But to many fans, it felt like their valid criticisms were being erased in favor of a more convenient storyline. What raised eyebrows further was the direction of the spin. In most cases, celebrities facing this kind of scrutiny will try to weather the storm quietly. But here, some suspected the counter-narrative was being actively driven from Lively's own camp, or at least by allies in the industry. The timing of the positive coverage, the choice of outlets, and the language used all pointed toward coordinated reputation management. This is where the imbalance of power becomes impossible to ignore. A global celebrity has access to lawyers, crisis managers, and entire PR teams whose sole job is to control the narrative. On the other side are individual TikTok creators, book bloggers, and YouTubers, often working alone with no budget, just their opinions and a phone camera. When those small players get labeled as harassers or haters, it's not a fair fight. The battle stops being about art or criticism and becomes about survival. Because in the court of public opinion, the side with the loudest megaphone usually wins. While headlines treated the lawsuits like juicy celebrity drama, the women on the receiving end were living a very different reality. One measured not in clicks, but in sleepless nights, unanswered bills, and the gnawing fear of what might come next. For most of them, their platform wasn't a media empire. It was a corner of the internet they'd carved out to share honest opinions about books and adaptations they loved or loathed. Then came the legal threats, delivered in language designed to intimidate. Phrases like cease and desist, defamatory content, and monetary damages that could bankrupt an ordinary person before a judge even hears the case. The emotional toll was immediate. One woman described the panic of refreshing her email, half expecting another threatening letter from a high-powered legal team. Another quietly shut down her account, too afraid to post anything at all. Not because she thought she was wrong, but because she couldn't afford to fight. And for those who made part of their income from content creation, the fallout was financial as well. Brand deals disappeared. Ad revenue plummeted. Followers drifted away, scared off by the whiff of controversy. Behind the usernames and profile pictures are real people. Mothers balancing childcare with side hustles, young women fresh out of college, creatives trying to pay rent in an economy that doesn't make it easy. For them, the lawsuit isn't just a legal matter. It's a shadow over every part of their lives, an ever-present reminder that speaking out can carry a devastating price tag. What makes it harder to bear is the imbalance of resources. On one side, a celebrity with millions of dollars, a full-time legal team, and a PR machine capable of spinning any narrative. On the other, individuals who may have to choose between hiring a lawyer and paying their utilities.
It's David versus Goliath, except Goliath has the power to decide the rules of the fight. Empathy is easy to lose in the noise of online discourse, but it's worth remembering. These women are not symbols, not faceless critics. They're human beings. Their lives don't pause when the trending topic changes. They carry the weight of this battle long after the headlines fade, navigating a world where their words can be weaponized against them and where truth doesn't always protect you from the cost of telling it. What's unfolding here is bigger than one celebrity, one lawsuit, or one fandom drama. It's about the rules of engagement in the digital age and who actually gets to speak. At its core, this case forces us to confront a sobering question. If a person with enough money and influence can weaponize the legal system against ordinary critics, where does that leave the rest of us? The line between protecting one's reputation and silencing dissent is razor thin. And when the scales are tipped by wealth and power, free speech isn't really free, it's conditional. Conditional on your resources, conditional on your willingness to risk everything. This isn't just about a few creators in a niche community. It's about every writer, reviewer, and everyday person who uses the internet to share an opinion. If speaking out means gambling with your livelihood and your peace of mind, then the voices we hear will increasingly be the ones least likely to challenge the powerful. And that should concern all of us. Because here's the truth. Criticism, when it's fair, fact-based, and rooted in genuine engagement, isn't an attack. It's part of the conversation that keeps art, media, and public figures accountable. Without it, the culture becomes an echo chamber, curated not by truth, but by those who can afford to control the narrative. So, as this story develops, let's keep asking the arty questions. Let's talk about where the line should be, who gets to draw it, and how we protect the space for honest dialogue. Because this isn't just their fight, it's a test case for all of us who value open conversation. I want to hear what you think. Does this lawsuit cross that line? Have you ever been afraid to speak your mind online because of potential backlash? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one of them. And if you want to follow this story as it unfolds, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. This isn't over, and the next chapter may shape far more than just one lawsuit.